The year is 1991. Birds and people are living together in seemingly perfect harmony, until one day a young man catches fire. This is Phoenix.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you are doing well. Welcome to the Game Week 31 deadline stream. I ended up making a move last night. I did Gabriel to Saliba. I'm still not completely sure it was the correct move. I think just waiting and having 2 free transfers next week was probably better, but it looked like Gabriel was going to drop in price. It also looked like Saliba was going to go up. That's exactly what happened. Saka also went up as well, which meant if I'd not made that move, I would have still been able to do it next week, but I would have had no leeway in terms of my moves for Game Week 33, and I just didn't want to risk that. For what it's worth, I'm trying to make sure that I can afford Savinho in Game Week 33. I suspect I'll just end up buying Rodgers anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, Saliba was going to come in this week or next week, so I've made it early. Hopefully I don't get any injuries next week, but it's a big risk. It's a big risk. So if you haven't done the move and you're not going to make it, I think that's absolutely fine. I wouldn't panic about it too much. I'm in the same situation as you for captaincy. I don't want to go Salah captain. I'm not sure whether ISAK will start, but Palmer captain is my choice right now. I think Palmer's fine. He literally never answers my questions, but anyway, Sar or Savinho. What's the song before the stream starts? Phoenix, it's called. It's on non-copyright sounds. It's called Phoenix by Netrum, Netrum, if you want to go and check it. Okay, some people got the joke. It's not too early for you guys. It's not too early. That was good, right? That was good. I thought about that before the stream when I saw the question. I enjoyed that one. Anyway, back to, is Eze worth the extra over Saar? Probably not. I think Eze's a good pick, but I think if money's going to be tight, I would just buy Saar. When is the sleeper result? I'll do that after the deadline stream. Not when it finishes, but when the deadline's up. I'll do it after 11 o'clock. I need to check, actually. Is there a lot of people on the same number of things? Predictions. We'll miss your streams after the season ending, but they'll be back next season. I've also just realised, so I booked something for the night of Saturday the 17th of May, thinking that's great. It's a deadline, won't have to get up early the next day. And I've just realised that this year, the FA Cup Finals on Saturday, no other Premier League matches are the same day. So the deadline for Game Week 37 is actually Sunday. So I'm going to have to figure out what to do. Anyway, that's my issue, not yours. Bench one, Saar, Gordon, Langer. Probably Gordon, because I don't think he's going to start. And he could come off the bench. I don't. You could say that Gordon start or not in the squad, but I actually don't think that's necessarily the case. I think he could be on the bench and come on for a cameo. Oh, there's loads of people on 8 picks. I really should have jotted them all down before the deadline stream. I might have to do it on the next deadline stream. unfortunately. Gone assistant manager and Glasner in for the next 3 game weeks, banking on those extra points. There's not actually. It's a shame that not all of them are a table bonus. I don't think Glasner's bad. I quite like what a lot of people are doing, which is Newcastle this week, next week into Arteta in game week 33. Like, it's a bit more boring because a lot of the games aren't table bonus, but a lot of the games are also just good. T, thank you. I suspect you meant to put a message and you didn't. I'll try and look out for it. I don't know if I should use my wildcard now for game week 30. Oh, sorry, now or for game week 32. I went Saka. Oh, sorry. Oh my god, I can't read. I don't know if I should use my wildcard now or for game week 32. I want Saka on wildcard. I already have one free transfer to Gabriel to Sleeper, and I can play Dango instead of Cliver. I already have Vardio. Then you can just play it in 32, right? You just play Vardio instead of Gabriel, Dango instead of Cliver. And Saka's not... And personally, I don't think Saka's like this massive rush to get this week. It depends how many other upgrades you can make. But if you want to leave it until 32, that's fine. And you can save a transfer. On wildcard, I'm not sure about Konza or Nico Williams. What is the reason to have Forest anyway? Bench boost 32 mostly. And they might double in 36 if they beat Man City in the FA Cup semi-final. Timber or Kivior, can't afford Saliba. Long term, I prefer Timber, but this week I'm not sure if Timber will start. Like, he is a doubt. So I think Kivior is probably better this week, but long term it's Timber, if that helps in any way. Sarr, Rogers, Gordon / Eze, Rashford, Murphy, Wan-Bissaka or Forest defender. For what? To play? Okay, is this bench one? If it's Wan-Bissaka or a Forest defender, I'd probably play Wan-Bissaka even though he's at home. Because he's at home, even though I think both of them will probably concede. If it's Sarr, Rogers... No, I don't know the question because you've got 6 midfielders. I'm not sure what the question is, to be honest. Would you love a Salah, Saka, Palmer in a wildcard 31? I would if you can afford all the other good players as well, sure. Don't see any problem with that. What do you expect regarding Foden's minutes? Start him or Sarr? I actually think Sarr's better. Which sounds mad to say. The only thing is, Sarr's quite popular, Foden's not. So you've got a bit of differential status with Foden. I think Foden starts. I cannot guarantee it. I really can't. The safe move is Sarr. Who thought we'd be at game week 31 saying that Ismail Sarr is better to play than Phil Foden? That's the one thing I love about FPL. Like, we all go into every season thinking we know kind of what's going to happen, which the good players are, but it never quite works out as you think. And we're in game week 31, and I think Ismail Sarr is better to start than Phil Foden. That looks like a bench boost. My bench is better next week, I think. But it's not a bad bench boost by any means. Next week it'll be Martinez against Southampton away, Evan Nilsson against Fulham at home, Vardio against Palace at home, and Nico Williams against Everton at home. So it'll be slightly better. There's not much in it. I could go this week just to make sure I don't get any more injuries next week, but I'm going to stick to the plan and hope it's not too bad. Is Heung-min Son a good punt for this week? Yeah, I'd say Spurs players against Southampton generally pretty good. Like, whatever you think of Spurs, they should beat Southampton. The only thing I will say is they've got Europe, right? Straight after Southampton. Son might not even play. He could get benched. So in theory, he's a good punt, but I can't promise you he's going to start. What chip am I using? Nothing this week. I use my wildcard next week. Why not Mateta? Because I've got 3 other Crystal Palace players, and I couldn't really afford him. I couldn't really get Mateta and all the other players I wanted to. Spurs season rests on Europe. Yeah, actually thinking about it a bit more, because obviously when you get a question on a live stream, you give a reaction straight away. Now I've given it like 30 seconds more thought. I probably wouldn't go Son. I think it's a waste of a transfer. He might not start. If he does, he could do really well. But even if he does start, how many minutes is he going to get? I think Solanke might be better than Son. Moro, 12 months. Thank you for 12 months. Nice. So you signed up around this time last year. Not often you get people signing up towards the end of the season. Sometimes, I guess. Foden, Sarr, Rogers, Burn, or Savinho. So you got to bench one of those. Burn, I guess, right? Bench one, Munoz, Saliba, Vardio, Konza. Vardio. Bench one, Foden, Saka, Sarr. Foden, I think. Yeah, Foden. Bruno, thank you. Again, I will say, I think Saka will start. I don't think you could be shocked if he's benched again. Like, it wouldn't be a massive shock to me if Saka misses out and is on the bench. I think he'll start, but I can't guarantee it, especially with the Real Madrid game right around the corner and just back from a 3+. It wasn't even 3 months. Wasn't it like 100 days? It was over 3 months he was out for. Foden will score. It's a derby. Maybe, yeah. If I had Foden, I wouldn't be going out of my way to bench him, but a lot of people have just wildcarded with him. They've got good squads, and the reality is Foden's not guaranteed to start. Best goalkeeper if you take away game week 33, because I'm free hitting that week. Highest chance of double game week 36. It was probably Ederson. Or Kepa. Because you'd be banking on I think Man City, I think there's more chance of... How do I phrase this? Yeah, I think Man City... If you were predicting the 2 FA Cup semi-finals, let me think of a good way to say this. If you're predicting the 2 FA Cup semi-finals, I think most people would have City as favourites. I think most people would find it more difficult to split Villa and Palace. And so therefore, Man City are probably the most likely of the 4 teams to get to the final. Therefore, if there's going to be a double in 36, Ederson and Kepa are probably the highest chance of that double. So Kepa's probably not bad. Ederson not awful either. Oh, thing is, if you take away 33, then you need someone that's playing in 34, right? So probably Kepa. What's wrong with Alisson, though? Yeah, I don't get what's wrong with... Oh, is Alisson out still? Did Alisson miss out recently? Oh, he's a doubt. I think he'll play. I can't remember exactly what Slot said about him. Yeah, I think Alisson will probably be fine, but Kepa, I guess. Oh, concussion on the international break. Okay, so if he's not... Yeah, I completely forgot. Excuse me, I've been up since 6. That's earlier than my usual wake up time. So I've woken up more because I was up earlier, but I'm also a bit more tired. If that makes sense. Yeah, so probably Kepa, I think, off the top of my head. Maybe Sales isn't bad either. Like Forest fixtures for the rest of the season are pretty good. Question was 2 different mid combos. Wan-Bissaka or Forest defender till 38. Oh, probably Forest. Oh, okay. So it's just next for clarity, make it simple for me. If you'd put an or, that would have made it a lot more obvious. Maybe it is obvious to most people anyway, but I'm an idiot. Remember that. Sarr, Rodgers, Gordon. Yeah, I wouldn't go for Gordon. He probably won't start today. So it has to be Eze, Rashford, Murphy. Rashford's fine, but he could get benched. That's all I can say. He's not guaranteed to start. If he does start, he's pretty good value. He's on penalties. The minutes will be so-so over the next few weeks, so he could still get you good returns. But just don't be surprised if you buy Rashford and he gets benched at some point. Who should start, João Pedro or Eze? So João Pedro has got Palace away. Probably Eze. But João Pedro is definitely on penalties. It's a close one, but probably Eze. I built the same wildcard draft as your wildcard 31 video, but I got 3.4 in the bank. That's disgusting. What would you do with it? I can't remember what the draft was. I'd have to go and have a look at it, which I probably can't do on a deadline stream. Maybe Van Dijk and Martinez for Konza and Areola. That sounds pretty good to me, yeah. Because even if you're using Van Dijk in 33, it's Leicester away. Konza and Areola, though. Yeah, Martinez is fine for bench boost 33. I like that. Yeah, sounds okay. The thing is, there's not really too many other double game week players that you can go and buy because you're already close to the maximum anyway. Like Ederson, maybe instead of you could go Ederson and I don't know, just keep Konza, I guess. But yeah, Van Dijk and Martinez sounds okay. After giving it like 20 seconds thought. Same as you now, except Konza instead of Williams. Had Saliba last week on wildcard, so feel one transfer ahead. Should I roll or Palmer to Saka? I'd roll. I really don't think Palmer to Saka is a great move. Until 33. Like Saka could outscore him again as he did last week, but I'd stick with Palmer. Bench which one of Sarr, Savinho, Murphy or Mateta? Probably Savinho for me, reluctantly. Milenkovic for Kirkes, 8 Nuri or Munoz. Like to play, I would. 8 Nuri's got hasn't he got a good fixture this week? Let me just double check. It's Spurs next week, right? Oh yeah, Ipswich, of course. Wait, where was the question? Oh yeah. So Kirkes West Ham away, Milenkovic Villa. No, I'd play Kirkes 8 Nuri and Munoz, I think. Wildcard 31, Foden, Sarr, Rodgers, Burn, or Savinho, Rodgers, Konza, Gordon. I mean, I don't know how you could put Foden on a wildcard after seeing him bench last week, in all honesty. Like, he may just get lots of starts now, but you can't guarantee it. Gordon also feels like a bit of a risk because he's a doubt this week, but I guess he'd probably be fit for next week. So I'd probably go something like, I mean, even Sarr, Savinho, just for less money, and to have it for elsewhere might be better. And Burn or something like that. Gordon for Murphy, plan this in 33 for Saka funds. Like to sell Gordon for Murphy? Yeah, I guess so, because Gordon's probably not going to start. Start 2, Sarr, Mateta, Rodgers, Vardy, Konza. I'd bench the 2 defenders, if that's an option. If you have to start one, if you have to bench one attacker, one defender, I'd bench Vardy and Rodgers. Sarr is the safe pick, but Foden has gone big against Man United before, and Man United defence is... Yeah, but I mean, that was a different time, right? Man City were much better then. I mean, they're still better than Man United now, but like, and Foden was almost guaranteed to start around that time. He's not guaranteed to start. Like, you already know the stuff. You just got to make the decision now. I can't help you anymore. You know Sarr's the safe pick. You know Foden's a doubt. Do you want to take that risk on? If yes, play Foden. If not, play Sarr. That's all there is to it. Start 2, Munoz, Cucurella, and Howson. So West Ham away, Brighton at home. Cucurella is Brentford. So definitely Munoz. There's no doubt about that. Cucurella and Howson. I'd probably go Howson. I don't think Chelsea defence is necessarily better than Bournemouth. I think West Ham away is a better fixture than Brentford away, slightly. Is it necessary to have a Newcastle defender? Not necessarily, but I would want a triple up probably for Leicester away in the double next week if you could. Unless you're like assistant manager or something like that. What's getting more points? Wildcard now and set up for the double in this weekend or wait till next week? I don't know. Well, that depends on your team. Right? Like, let's say a bunch of popular picks get injured this week, then next week wildcard's going to look great. If your team looks terrible right now, then you should probably wildcard. Because in terms of fixture info and stuff like that, ain't much going to change this week to next week. Also, do you want to use a chip in 32? Because if you do, you can't wildcard the same week. You not think it's risky going double Arsenal defence when you could start Vardy over Saliba? What's risky? Like, who do you think's more likely to get a clean sheet? Arsenal against Everton away or Vardy against Man United away? If you think it's Vardy, then you should play Vardy. If you don't, you should probably play the Arsenal defender. Do you think double Newcastle defence for this is good? Potentially, yeah. Depends which. Ultimately depends which defender you're benching instead. But they're playing Leicester away, so it can never be terrible to play 2 defenders. Stephen, 83 months. Thank you very much. Would you put Marino on a wild card? Almost certainly not. I've got Raya and Saka and have a third Arsenal spot open. And why are Forest defenders in drafts? Forest defender for me is basically bench boost 32, Everton at home. And if Forest beat Man City in the FA Cup, which I know is unlikely, but if they do, then they might double in 36. And even if they don't double in 36, he's got Leicester at home. So it's a pretty good fixture either way. I don't think I'd go Marino. I know he's like 6 million, or he might be 6.1 now, playing up front. He has scored some goals, but the numbers aren't exciting. And like, what if he gets put back into midfield at some point? Like, what if Timber and White can't play today and Partey plays right back and Marino goes into midfield and Trossard plays up front instead? Like, are you still happy with it? I think it's fine just to leave the spot open if you're not comfortable with a different third player. How do you think you can get an edge now that so many teams are similar? Do we have to wait until after 34? I guess you try and take on a few different... Like, for me, like, part of the reason... Like, it's just small things. Like, part of the reason to play Eze over Sarr is because Eze's lower ownership. It's not even necessarily that I think Eze is miles better. It's simply that Eze's lower ownership. part of the reason I want to go ISAK and Palmer or Palmer captain is because they'll be lower captain than Salah this week. So it's just those little things, really. Ultimately, the stuff that's happened over the last couple of weeks hasn't helped people be able to differentiate. Like, there's always going to be a template, right? I tell you right now, what's going to happen is FPL will launch, everyone will look at the price and stuff and say, wow, there's loads of options. There might not be a template this season. By the time we get to game week 1, everyone will have worked out the fixtures, the players, the injuries. There will be a template. There always is. And then people will moan about it. But yeah, there's always a template. But ultimately, I don't know why I got on to next season. That's a little bit of a rant. Like, Haaland getting injured didn't help because some of us would have gone without Salah. So that would have been a bit of a differential. Chris Wood getting injured also I don't think helped, because I think if Chris Wood was fit, a lot of people would have kept hold of him, and that would have been another nice differential to take on. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. Haaland getting injured means everyone went Marmoush. It made sense. Isak's got Leicester on a double. It makes sense. Everyone's on Mateta. It makes sense, etc., etc., etc. Like, there's a lot of similar teams right now because only 4 teams are doubling. Like, it happens all the time. So there's not really too much you can do about it. Both are 10% ownership. Yeah, but in terms of engaged managers, Saar will almost certainly be ahead of Eze. Surely you start Vardy over Minoz. I don't know why, to be honest. Yeah, lots of people saying surely you don't bench Vardy, but like who is he better than in my backline? I don't think anyone. Man United definitely scoring. Come on, give him a chance. Best Clivert transfer, own Murphy and Saar 0.2 in the bank. If you're not free hit 34, then maybe even someone like Alanga could work, like longer term. Like, Forest fixtures are quite good for the rest of the season. Otherwise, if you're free hit 34 and you want some double game week players, it's probably Savinho or like a Rodgers for safety, or maybe Rashford if you want to take a bit of risk. Or a Palace midfielder if you're not already tripled up. Oh, sorry, but you said Murphy and Saar. You've probably got Mateta and Munoz. Saar or Mateta and play Howson or do a transfer. Play Howson, probably. Depends who you don't own that you could bring in. Eze and Watkins or Rodgers and Mateta. I think at the moment it has to be Rodgers and Mateta because Watkins has been carrying a bit of an injury. Like, he might start this week, but you can't guarantee it. Would you bench Savinho or Eze? Savinho or even Mateta? No, I'd play Mateta if you got him. Start Savinho or Saar, Trippier or Vardio. Trippier, I think. I think he'll probably start. Switch free hit to 33, wildcard now, and stack 34, 36. No bench boost. Thank you very much. I haven't looked, I'll be honest, I haven't looked much into wildcarding now with free hit 33 in mind. But it just seemed, the thing is, if there's going to be any doubles in 36, it's going to be for teams in the FA Cup still, plus their opponents in 37. And those teams are also going to be the ones that are doubling in 33. So it still seems to make more sense to go wildcard free hit 34 than free hit 33. Like, you're only 2 game weeks away. You can set up for a pretty decent... Like, it's not like all the players you'd be going for are terrible after game week 33. So my instinct is free hit 34 is still better. But I've got to be honest, on a deadline stream, I can't go and look at... how free hit 33 will compare in much detail. So if you've worked it out and you think that's better, go for it. Start 2 of Semenyo, Foden, Saar and... Oh, I'm going to say Foden, but I can't guarantee who's going to start. Bring in Livramento or Burn to start. Probably Livramento, but there's not much in it. And bench Colwell, Minter or Kirkes. Probably Colwell. What goalkeepers would you go for on wildcard 31 or 32? When to bench boost if I wildcard now? I mean, bench boost is 32 or 33. I'd probably go 33 and go for like Areola and Raya, something like that. If you want to bench boost 32, I mean, there's loads of ways you can do it. I did a whole goalkeeper section on the wildcard video on Wednesday. If you want to go and watch that, you got time before the deadline. Probably be much more useful than I can quickly spitball it now. But it's like you could go Henderson and Pope if you want a wildcard 32. You could go for Martinez and pretty much any other goalkeeper if you want a wildcard if you want to bench boost 33. Like, there's a ton of options. Basically, Raya, Areola, bench boost 33, Henderson, Pope, Martinez, Edison, Raya, they're all competitive for bench boost 32. Bench Saka, Savinho or Saar. Savinho. As much as I think there's a chance that Saka will get benched, I don't think you can bench him in your FPL team this week. Wildcard 31, Eze, Rogers, Burn, or Savinho, Murphy, Munoz. Probably Eze, Rogers. I mean, Eze, Rogers, and Burn feels the best for minutes. But you get Murphy for Leicester this week. Yeah, that's really close. That's almost coin flippable. I think safety and minutes rest of the season. You probably just go Eze, Rogers, Burn. Start Savinho, Rogers, Rogers probably. Pope, Raya. That's quite close. I'll say Raya just because it's Arsenal defence. Vardy or Konza. Saka or Palmer on wildcard. Saka sitting around 30k and trying to climb a bit. Is Watkins over Mateta a viable option on wildcard? I think not having Mateta is viable, but the problem with Watkins is he hasn't played the last 2 games because apparently he's been nursing a bit of an injury. So you do run some risk that he's not starting again this week. Pros and cons on Marino. I mean, the pros are he's 6 odd million Arsenal midfielder playing up front at the moment. Cons are he might not. Cons are he might not always play number 9, and that would suck. My assistant manager is active. Which manager to target? I quite like Eddie Howe this week, next week into Mateta with a transfer. You could go Glasner just for 3 weeks as well, but not many of the games that you'd want. Like the Brighton game, for example, this week is not table bonus, which kind of sucks. You could go something like Graham Potter into Glasner and get an. No, you wouldn't even get an extra fixture like that, would you? Yeah, I think I would if you got the Newcastle spot, I think I would just go Howe into Arteta. Howe Arteta, basically. Feels like I have to start Foden now that I have him. I mean, that's always the way when you buy Man City attackers. You always feel like you have to play them, and you always have this headache every single week, and yet we always fall into this trap. I've literally done Gabriel to Saliba to make sure I can still afford Savinho in Game Week 33. I'm going to buy him, and then I'm going to hate the fact that I own him. Where do I move? I don't know. It depends what the rest of your team is. Most people benching Sarr. What about taking a risk and benching Salah instead? Yeah, no thanks. That just does not seem fun at all. I'm all up for a little bit of a risk. Not that much. Start Savinho or Szoboszlai? Oh, interesting question. What a differential question that is. I don't know. I will say Szoboszlai just because you can guarantee he's going to start, I guess. Pretty much. I guess with Savinho, can't quite so much. Szoboszlai probably get benched now. Then again, Man United away is probably an easier fixture. I'm going to say I start Savinho, I think. Man United away is an easier fixture than Fulham away, probably. Although, Man United just do turn up for these kind of matches. I would not be surprised if Man United win. Any Timber or ISAK news? Not different to what we had yesterday. Happy Easter. Is it Easter, is it? Isn't Easter 2 weeks away? Or does Easter Easter's the day, the important date, the day we get the chocolate eggs, is 2 weeks away, right? But thanks. Happy Easter to you too. Yeah, Timber's a doubt. ISAK. I think ISAK will start, but we don't have any new news from yesterday's video. What's the earliest Liverpool can win the league? I think it's Game Week 34 or 35 if they win every game, something like that. But that was a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if anything's changed, but presumably it's still around then. If they keep winning every game. I think Arsenal are 12 points behind. So if Liverpool were to win in 31, 32 and 33, that'd be 9 points. That'd be 82. They'd be 20 points behind. But Arsenal could obviously also win. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to be able to do the maths while I'm live streaming. I think it's around 34, 35 if they win every game. Something like that. Perhaps Arsenal drop points today. Maybe. Yeah. Obviously, that relies on Arsenal also winning every game. If Liverpool win the next 2 or 3 and Arsenal don't, then it's a different story, right? This is part of the. I'm not going to keep banging on about it. This is part of the reason I was considering about going about Salah, just in case he gets rested a bit more once the league is won. But it's done now. Who cares? Thanks for always helping Team Foden. Good luck. Hope it works. Well, I hope it doesn't work out for you because I want Man United to win. But good luck. 24 months. Thank you very much. Is a Spurs mid as a differential too risky for the Southampton Wolves game? The problem you've got is trying to guess which Spurs midfielder will start both of those games. Like, I fully get the desire to target Southampton. It makes a lot of sense, just like we all did with Triple Palace last week. It was brilliant. I can't tell you if Maddison will start twice. Like, he just started against Chelsea, right? So would he start against Southampton? Would he be safe for Europe? If he's not playing Europe, then maybe he starts both. But I just don't know. The fact that he just started makes me a bit more worried. I think anyone that started the last game, I'd be more worried is going to start this one. So I just don't think I would go there. Start Rodgers or Sarr? Sarr, I think, for me. Start Savinho or Sarr? Sarr, I think, for me. I'm sick of being a Spurs fan. The only upside is my wife is a Man United fan. It's a very poor football household at the moment. I mean, question for you. I mean, Man United are terrible as well, but like, is that much better for you? I mean, Man United are terrible and they're ahead of you in the league, and there's no guarantee that Spurs do better in the Europa League either. So I don't know if that's a massive consolation. I guess if Man United were winning, it would be worse. Obviously I want Man United to win the Europa League, but if Man United get knocked out, I kind of want Ange to win. I know he's kind of turned a bit recently, and everyone was loving him at first. Obviously, Spurs are winning. Now they're losing a lot, and he's getting a bit more aggravated in press conferences and stuff, and the cup in the ear, and then trying to play it down. But like, there's part of me that kind of wants him to win. There's something about him I quite like. I know a lot of Spurs fans probably disagree at this point, but yeah, if Man United get knocked out, I'll be hoping Spurs win. Glad I got my assistant manager chip out of the way. Too congested at the moment. 27 months, thank you. I think it's probably okay for most people. I think a lot of people quite like the Eddie Howe into Arteta move. Bro thinks he's the thinker because he doesn't captain Salah. Bro thinks he's the thinker. Okay. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure it means something to you. Would you start Big Foden or Murphy? I'd probably start Murphy. Oh, yeah. Just for the guaranteed start. Activated my assistant managership. Who would you go for? Amorim or... I like Howe into Arteta. Like Eddie Howe this week, next week into Arteta. You could go Amorim and then move it to Glasner, but I think it's a bit weaker. You don't gain any transfers by doing that. Sarr had 0 XG against Southampton. Okay. Salah had 0.07 against Everton. Are we benching Salah? Probably not, right? And I appreciate Everton is a tougher game, but still. Salah hasn't scored for 6 games from open play. For the assistant manager, I would need to take a -4 to remove either a Newcastle or Palace player. Which would you suggest from Newcastle? Burn, Murphy, Ease? Probably Murphy, but doesn't feel great, does it? None of it's going to feel great. There's probably not many other routes. Could you leave the assistant manager until later on? But the problem is you might not get any doubles, so it could be horrible. Probably Murphy. I mean, Burn's fine as well. Probably Murphy, but it's a bit of a horrible situation to be in. Is it not possible for ISAK to be benched? Yes, it's possible. Should I captain Salah to avoid the risk? Probably, yeah. If you don't want to take any risk, like. The thing is, Salah's got no Europe or anything to contend with. He's going to play 90 minutes against Fulham. Like, he's probably the safest captain, as he usually is. I just want to go a bit different. I might even switch to Palmer. I really don't mind Palmer captain this week. Having such a midlife crisis about wildcarding or not in the next hour and a half. I mean, if you're thinking about wildcard, I would at least think about what your team's going to look like. You don't want to decide in an hour that you're wildcarding and then have to think about what the team will be. I've wildcarded with like minutes to go before on a deadline stream. Like once at least. Okay, squad now. Wildcard bench with free hit to play. What's the best strategy? Probably wildcard this week or next, and free hit 34 is probably still quite strong. Otherwise, if your team is fine for the next couple of weeks, just free hit 33 maybe for the double, and then wildcard out of it. Or if you can get through 33, maybe wildcard in 34, 35, and then if there's doubles in 36, you could free hit in 37. But it really depends on how good your team is right now, how many improvements you can make. I want ISAK as captain, but Salah could hurt so bad. Yeah, same every week, really. Wildcard this week to set up for bench boost 33 will have free hit. Will have hits 34. Is that free hit 34? Yeah, that sounds okay. I think with ISAK, he will either start or not be included at all. I don't think they will risk him off the bench, but I can. Yeah, I mean, they could bench him because it's Leicester. But I think it's worth keeping in mind that the Newcastle are still chasing Champions League spots. So and it's not a big injury that ISAK has. It's like a thing that kind of cropped up. Like Eddie Howe said, it happened before Liverpool, but then they rested him and he was fine. So the fact they took him off early in the last game, maybe that will help him start the Leicester game. He probably will get subbed earlier. I don't see ISAK lasting the full 90. Praz mentioned in a stream about backing ISAK captain is he'll start or won't play. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think there is a chance that ISAK's on the bench, but I think it's a very small chance. Like the most likely outcome is he starts or is out of the squad completely. But there is like a very, very small, like even if you think it's like less than 5%, there is a small chance he could just be benched and they'll just use him if things are going wrong. Wildcard 31, Foden, Sarr, Rodgers, Burn, or Savinho, Eze, Murphy, Konza. Foden? Yeah, again, probably the one without Foden. Like, Savinho is not guaranteed to start necessarily more than Foden, but I think right now there's not many natural right-wing options, although Foden can play there. And also, Savinho is just less money to have to commit to a Man City player that's not nailed. Talk me through playing Munoz over Vardiol. Home game and really attacking. Vardiol could just play centre-back again. I'm a little bit surprised that everyone's so shocked that I'm playing Munoz over Vardiol. Like a couple of weeks ago, like it was crazy to not even... Like I didn't have Munoz and it was like I was an idiot to not have him. And now he's blanked in a game. There's all these questions about why is he being played. A couple of weeks ago, he was essential. I think if you want to play Vardiol, it's fine, but like it's mostly just a fixture play. Like Munoz is at home, his attacking stats from open play are really good. Vardiol might play centre-back. That's it. It's like, I think people should probably just accept that a lot of us are just wildcarded. Therefore, we have good squads. Therefore, we have to bench good players, and that's it, really. I meant I will have to take hits 34. No. Yeah, but you still need to bench boost at some point. So, yeah, if you wildcard now and try and bench boost after 34, it's probably not going to get any easier for you. You could also bench boost 32 if that makes it easier. In a draft, Evan Nielsen out for Strand Larsen. No way. I will keep Evan Nielsen, I think. On wildcard 31, rank 97k. Is it okay to go Saka over Palmer? I would definitely go Saka over Palmer and save a transfer, I think. Yeah, Palmer is certainly not essential. I wouldn't be panicking about him too much. Henderson or Jose Sarr to play this week. So Brighton at home or... Probably Jose Sarr. Just take on the Ipswich game. Palmer does play Ipswich, yeah, but it's an extra transfer. And you're getting closer to 33 when you're going to want Saka. It's fine. If you've got the spare transfers, go for Palmer. But just be careful because I also planned Palmer to Saka in 33. And straight away I've had to use a transfer on an injury. Gordon or Sarr, I would just start Sarr. Best time now to use Assistant Manager. Probably this week if you can. When should I use Wildcard if I have no free hits? Either like next couple of game weeks if your team doesn't look great for the doubles in 33. Otherwise, just play through the doubles and Wildcard afterwards in 34 or 35 for the rest of the season. Wildcard for the rest of the season. Am I tempted to play Martinez instead of Raya? Not really, no. I mean, you could argue Martinez has got the better fixture because it's at home, but I just still back Arsenal defence despite Vardiol missing out. Despite Gabriel being out, sorry, not Vardiol. I've got Vardiol on the brain now because people keep asking about him. Bench Timber, Munoz, Burn or Vardiol. Timber, I think, because it's not a guarantee you'll start. Start Raya or Pope. Probably. I think that's really close. I may have said Raya before. Leicester just can't score. Leicester just cannot score. Probably Pope. If I said Raya earlier, I apologise. Probably Pope, just about. With hard luck this season with injuries, Saliba will get injured there. We'll be talking about Rob Holding back from Sheffield United. Hopefully not. It'd be really annoying if that happens, though. Konza or Luka Dean or Emi Martinez? Well, I wouldn't buy Luka Dean just in case he gets rotated at some point. Konza and Emi Martinez, it's fine. Depends which fits in better to your overall setup, right? They're different positions. There's no news on time frame for Chris Wood, no. Rashford or Savinho and Munoz or Luka Dean bench decision. I would probably play Rashford over Savinho and hope he starts. And I would play... I go Munoz still, I think. Thoughts on Spurs assets, Son versus Solanke punt. I think Solanke's more likely to start, if that helps. Sarr or Alangus, Sarr. Can't wait for your tweet when Beto wipes out the double clean sheet. Yeah, I mean, it can happen. Bench 1, Sarr, Mateta, Marino, Foden. Probably Marino. Just hope that Foden starts. Start Pickford or Sells. Villa away. And Arsenal at home, obviously. Probably Sells. Good morning, Maestro. Start Savinho versus Sarr, and Vardiel versus Munoz. Thanks for your support over the season. Are you joining our Premier League parade? No, of course not. I won't even be watching from afar online. But enjoy it. Start ISAK or Fernandez. ISAK for sure. I think. Do you think Jed Spence will start against Southampton? I don't know. My guess would be yes, but I don't know. I really would just mostly ignore Spurs players. It's too much of a headache for one game against Southampton. Like how interesting are they after that game? Is Kluivert definitely out? Nope. Would you do Odegaard to Saka for -4 if you're guaranteed to use that transfer down the line this season, so you'd be taking a future -4 anyway? I don't know if I would, to be honest. At least you know Odegaard's going to start, right? Like, info is important. Saka could just not start and then pick up an injury against Real Madrid or something. Yeah, I think if I had Odegaard, I'd probably just hold. Potter assistant manager chasing rank Gabriel to Cucurella, no free hit 34. That sounds potentially okay. Chelsea fixtures after 33. Fulham, Everton at home, Liverpool away, Newcastle at home, Newcastle away, Man United at home, Forest away. Yeah, they're okay. I do wonder whether like a Wolves or a Forest defender might be slightly better, but I like the Ipswich fixture in 32. Why Saliba over Vardiol? Why not? Like, one's playing Everton away, one's playing Man United. I mean, maybe Everton attack is better than Man United. How come you had Sarr ahead of Marmoush on your benching dilemma, but you're starting Marmoush? I'm an idiot, basically. Someone else already pointed that out on the video yesterday. Yeah. That's it. Do you think Kivior could be a good shout to save money on the Saliba purchase? I think he could be if he keeps starting, but I don't think that's necessarily a guarantee. Also, what are people saving the money for? I know some people have got lower team value, but even me with what doesn't feel like great team value is not massively struggling for cash, although I have just had to get Saliba in early to avoid price changes. You could argue Beto is better than Højlund. I wouldn't argue against that. FPL Challenge, I've not played all season. I'm probably not going to start now. Double Arsenal defence over Vardiol. I'm playing Saliba over Vardiol, yes. The Crystal Palace game week 32-33 are tough games. Would it be better to triple up on attack? I can't see Munoz getting a clean sheet. I think that's fine if you want to do that, yeah. Remember that a lot of people got their Palace triple up from game week 30, so then it was Southampton away, Brighton at home as well, so there was kind of merit to go on Munoz. But yes, absolutely, I think triple attack could be decent. For what it's worth, by the way, for anyone that's heard me mention Rob T FPL in my videos, he puts out a graphic every week with the projected goals and clean sheet odds based on the bookmakers' odds. even with the Gabriel injury, they have Arsenal down 40% clean sheet against Everton away. They've got Man City 27%. So even with the Gabriel injury, it's seen as and it probably would be, right. It's Everton away rather than Man United away. Despite how bad Man United have been, they just find a way to score in these games. So I really don't think it's that crazy to play Saliba over Vardy. I mean, you could argue Vardy was more attacking, but you could also just play centre back this week. He might not even play as a left back. So he's still got some threat from set pieces, of course, and he could score against Man United. It's absolutely possible. But Saliba could also score against Everton. 40% is crazy. I've been banging on about it all season. The Arsenal defence is just very good. They don't give up too many chances, and it's not all just down to one particular player. Obviously, Gabriel is going to be a massive miss, and it wouldn't be a surprise if they get less clean sheets now, but their defence is just really good, partly because of how they set up out of possession and stuff like that. Like, no team, according to the bookmakers' odds that Rob has put out, has a better chance for a clean sheet this week than Arsenal. Even Newcastle against Leicester is 38%. Spurs at home to Southampton, 36%. That's just how highly rated Arsenal are. Do you think Kushinov starts the remaining games? I think there's a chance if they don't get any other centre-backs back from injury, but also like he just got benched the other day. So, sorry, he wasn't even in the squad the other day. I wouldn't risk it. Saka was on the match day poster for Arsenal. Hint that he's starting. No, just a hint that graphics designers have to put stuff out in advance, and Saka's quite popular in terms of Arsenal fans. I don't think who's on a match day graphic has any bearing in terms of who's going to start. If you remember, not that I should remind people about this, to last season, when some of us sold Gabriel to Saliba in game week 1, Gabriel was then on the match day graphic, which just made my evening absolute hell. And then Gabriel didn't start. Savinho or Asensio, Savinho or Rashford on wildcard. I'm going to say Savinho. They're all minutes risks. I just think at the moment Savinho is probably the least risky when it comes to getting benched. But he could just get benched this week. Which is better, bench boost 32 or 33? I think in theory 33 is better because you can get 1 or 2 double game week players on the bench. But for a lot of people, it's just easier to set up in 32. Best defender without a double. Liverpool probably. Although Liverpool's fixtures are not great longer term. So I'd probably go Forest, but they've lost Aina as well. Yeah, I'm going to say Van Dijk with no double. And I think Forest are pretty good too. Real Madrid versus Arsenal is next. Surely they'll be careful with Saka's game time. You would hope so as a non-Saka owner, yes. I mean, there's a reason why I went for Palmer over Saka on wildcard. It hasn't worked out so far. I really hope it works out over the next 2. Because I feel like I think it was a more than reasonable decision to go for Palmer. And the fact he's already 2 points behind is massively frustrating. So I'm hoping that he does well over the next few. Oh, I never updated me points on the graphic. Let me do that now. Forever. Let's just open this. Where do I have to go? Stream, new stream, points. I've got to update it because I've got a better rank now. I'm in the dizzy heights of top 240k. Doesn't get any better than this life. How many points did I score? 58. Just copy and save that. There we go. With Trent out, won't that lessen Salah's effectiveness that we were seeing recently? Quite possibly, and hopefully it does this week. I mean, it's always worth keeping in mind that Salah is just very good. So, like, he'll find ways to get points. Who is the best assistant manager to pick this game week? I quite like I said quite a few times now, I like Eddie Howe this week, next week into Arteta 33. Start with Palmer on wildcard and sell to Savinho in 33, or just start with Savinho and save the transfer. Probably just start with Savinho, but the Palmer fixture against Ipswich is quite nice. Son on wildcard then, switch Saka with more minutes info. I would just start with Saka. Like, there's no guarantee Son starts today. What's with Gordon? He's a doubt. Why Murphy and not him? Is it money? It's money, yeah, but also Gordon's a doubt. He's not guaranteed to start this week. Do I think Nico O'Reilly starts? I don't know. I suspect it'll be Vardiol back to left back and Kushinov and Diaz as the centre backs, but who knows? Should my girlfriend play FPL? Nah. It's just a game that we just spend being miserable all the time playing, so probably not. Thank you for answering my question on final thoughts. No worries. Thanks for submitting a question. By the way, I thought this morning, one reason to captain ISAK over Palmer is, out of the three main choices for me, ISAK, Palmer, and Salah, Palmer's the only one where if I don't captain him, I'll still want him to do well, because his ownership's quite low compared to what it was. Whereas if I go for Palmer captain, I'm gonna need both ISAK and Salah to blank, which just sucks. Having two of your 11 wanting them to blank is so rubbish. But then it also makes, if Palmer does win, then it also makes those returns even nicer. So I sold Palmer and bought Saka. Is it good? I wouldn't have done that personally, but I think having Saka in your squad can never be terrible. Rodgers or Elanga? Rodgers, Saliba and Murphy, or Martinelli and Nico Williams? Saliba and Murphy. Chips are tasty. Yes, they can be. Depends where you get them from, I suppose. I have Foden and my bench is all injured. Is it worth selling Kluivert to pack my bench if Foden didn't start? Oh my god. I hate making transfers just to improve benches. The thing is, I wouldn't bother, because you're going to start Foden either way, and even if he doesn't start, he's probably going to come off the bench. I know he didn't against Leicester. I'd be very surprised if he gets 0 minutes against Man United, so I probably wouldn't, and just reassess next week. I've stupidly got Gordon, start him or Rodgers. I think I would go for Rodgers. Look, the game is on Monday, so Newcastle do have a few extra days to try and get players back fit and stuff. But if I'm guessing, I think ISAK starts and Gordon doesn't. Abby, 20 months, thank you very much. Semenyo, Saka, Mateta, differential captain. I wouldn't go for any of them. Saka, you don't know the minutes. Mateta's okay, but he's been subbed early the last couple of games. I think Semenyo captain will just frustrate the hell out of you, to be honest. What happens if you play someone who's injured? How does it decide who to sub in? It just subs in the first player on the bench that will fit a valid formation. So if one of my, for my team, if one of my attackers doesn't play, then it'll be Sarr, because you can play 3-4-3 or 3-5-2. But if a defender misses out, it has to be Vardiol, because you can't play with less than 3 defenders. Start Konza or Agbadou. That's quite close. Probably. I'll say Konza just because he's at home. What have I got on the wrist today? Watch. 150k rank, chase, risk, or play safe. What's your goals for the end of the season? Do you want to chase rank? Do you want to have 150k? I think most of the time, the decisions you're making are probably not massively going to make it super risky or super safe anyway. It's probably the margins are probably a lot smaller than that. Do you think ISAK could come on if he's benched? Yes. Again, I think it's quite unlikely that he's benched, but it's possible. Should I captain Salah or ISAK? If you want to play it ultra safe, it's definitely Salah, because you know he's going to start. But if ISAK gets kind of 75, 80 minutes, I think he's the better captain. But there is risk with that. Vardiol, Munoz, Livramento, Konate, bench 1. Konate. Why not captain Marmoush? Because I don't think he's in the best 3 captains this week. We don't even know if Marmoush is on penalties. And as much as I think he's almost guaranteed to get good minutes with Haaland out, it's not a complete guarantee. He might not be on penalties. Palmer, ISAK, and Salah all are. Salah's going to play 90. ISAK's got Leicester. And I think Palmer's still good despite his really bad returns for a long time now. He hasn't scored since like game week 21 or something crazy. Would you start Gordon if Semenyo is my other option? I still think I'd start Semenyo. I know rank shouldn't influence decisions. It does though. But I'm 1.5 million. I captain Palmer. Yeah, almost certainly. Yeah, I think so. On wildcard, if we get elite that Salah's bench, would you swap to Palmer or bench him for Sarr? I think I would bench him for Sarr, but the problem is you might have this same headache in game week 32 because it's between the two Real Madrid games. Whereas at least with Palmer, like Chelsea do have a European game themselves, and I suspect that Palmer will start. But it's not going to be as intense you'd imagine as playing against Real Madrid, right? I think you probably still start with him, but if you've got the spare transfers, I don't mind starting with Palmer, especially if you're not lining up a huge amount of other transfers in 33. De Bruyne could be on penalties. Yeah, I doubt. I mean, De Bruyne might not even be on the pitch. De Bruyne's record, I actually looked it up the other day. It's not as bad as I thought it was. I always had De Bruyne down as a bit of a like Bowen type, where he's not actually that great at penalties, but his record's okay. So it could be De Bruyne, it could be Gundogan. That's what I'm saying. I think it'll be Marmoush, but we cannot guarantee it. Start one of Savinho, Rodgers, and Munoz. One. Oof, Rodgers, I think. Reasoning for move to Saliba this week, the next. Money. Will Saka start? I think so, but it's not a guarantee. Who is the best captain for this game week? Probably Salah, but ISAK and Palmer are fine. On wildcard 31 for bench boost 33, how does this bench look? Martinez, Isaac, Livramento, Wan-Bissaka starters will have 10. Yeah, I think it's fine. I'm going to also have... I would also have Livramento if I was bench boost 33. Martinez has got a double. Isak's absolutely fine. Wan-Bissaka's got Southampton. So Livramento is your like weakest pick. He's not awful, so yeah, I don't mind it. Marmoush is highly likely. Yeah, I mean, we can talk about this for the rest of the stream, but the ultimate thing is none of us know who's on penalties. Is De Bruyne an option? No. Week to week, I'm sure he'll start against Man United. How many minutes will he get and how many games will he get after that? No idea. Way too risky. Henderson will play 2 double game weeks in a row, all 4 games. I don't see him getting benched, yeah. Goalkeepers very rarely get rotated. Unless they're Edison, then it can happen every now and then. When do you think Gordon will be back? Presumably by game week 32. For a -4, Marmoush or Mateta? I would take Mateta for the extra fixture. And probably the slightly better fixture this week. But again, as I've said on last week's videos, in isolation, I prefer Marmoush because you can go for other Palace players. But if you can just get your third Palace player by going for Mateta instead, that also just works. 6.6 to spend on a midfielder. Who? Murphy? Eze, Sarr? If you haven't already got triple ups on those teams, could all be pretty good. 18 months, Yo-Yo, by the way. Thank you. Do you trust double Arsenal defence over a long-term punt in Game Week 33 for Mourinho as your third Arsenal player? Here's my question, right? I've asked this to so many people. With Gabriel missing for Arsenal, which defences that you thought were below them before in terms of how good they were are now better? Which defences, because of Gabriel's injury, have now gotten better than Arsenal? Simply FPL 32 months, thank you very much. ISAK over Palmer, and it's not even close. I think it's pretty close. Like, ISAK could have reduced minutes. Palmer's could play 90. Brentford away is not a awful fixture. But I might switch back. Liverpool, yeah, but you could have argued that before. Right, but here's the thing. If you're playing free hit 34, Liverpool have 3 fixtures between now and 33. Arsenal have 4. So, again, this is the question you have to ask yourself. Is Gabriel missing out so bad for Arsenal that you're going to lose a fixture and go for a Liverpool defender instead? Like, are Arsenal now that bad? Edison on wildcard. Which second goalkeeper can't be Henderson? Oh, God. Who was Raya? If you can afford it. I think Raya and Henderson is pretty good. As long as Edison doesn't get rotated for Ortega. On wildcard, I really want to keep Palmer with Saka, Salah, Isak. Can only really do this with Timber instead of Saliba. Would you go for it? I don't hate it. I think Timber is definitely the second best Arsenal defender, but he might not start this week. Bench one: Foden, Sarr, Murphy, Foden, Konza or Timber. I'd play Konza just because Timber might be benched. Forest have a nice defence. They do, but again, they don't have a double in 33. So if you're free hit 34, you're losing a fixture. So that is the question. Is Forest defence so much better than Arsenal now that it's worth losing a fixture for? Sarr or Eze on wildcard? Sarr for the value, I think. Have Mateta and Henderson. Nice. What do you think about Barnes' differential? I think for this week he's probably okay. I think longer term he's probably just not going to start. Bench one: Murphy, Sarr, Savinho, I think. Tom, 32 months, thank you very much. Bruno to Murphy and Strand Larson to Mateta, -4 to bench Elanga. I don't think you need to take that -4, really. I don't mind it, but I don't think you need to take it. I think playing Bruno, Strand, like playing Elanga and Strand Larson is probably fine to save the -4. I suppose if you think Mourinho is a good option, it's not just looking at the defences in isolation. No, but then you're looking at combinations, right? So again, this could be any combination you can come up with. But as an example for me, it would be Saliba and Rodgers, or Saliba and Savinho, or it would be Konza and Mourinho. Or Ruben Dias and Mourinho. So I don't think anyone can make a case that Mourinho is miles better than Rodgers or Savinho, really, to be honest. At least that's my thoughts. But I think you can make a case that Arsenal is still better than Villa defence. So basically, what I think has happened is Gabriel's got injured. Not great. So everyone straight away thinks the Arsenal defence is weaker, which it is. Nobody is disagreeing with that. It is weaker without Gabriel. But in terms of FPL, there is still not many other exciting defenders to buy. Like, who right now, who do you think is the most attacking defender in FPL that's fit? It's probably like Munoz or Vardio. Like, Trent's injured. Porro's not nailed. Gabriel's out. Robinson, terrible fixtures. Like, awful fixtures. Like, this is the thing. Like, Saliba, unfortunately, Saliba is just really obvious. It's super boring. I understand why people are trying to not go for Saliba. And if you want to go for Mourinho, I'm really not trying to talk you out of it. Yeah, Nico Williams, maybe. But again, if you're free hit 34, it's 3 fixtures versus 4. And also, Arsenal's fixtures are just good as well. It's not just that they've got extra fixtures. It's Everton away, good defensive fixture. Brentford at home, not bad. Ipswich away, good. And Palace at home, in a game where Palace might rotate. Reece James is not even that attacking. He's being used in midfield a lot of the time. Yeah, Kukurea is not a bad shout. But, I hate to sound like a broken record, 3 fixtures next 3 versus 4. 2 of them are away to Brentford and Fulham. And if, like me and a lot of other people, you're on free hit 34, you miss the Everton game anyway, because you can just get him in on free hit, then he comes straight back to Liverpool at home, Newcastle away, Man United at home. But Chilwell doesn't play. Anyway, you get the point I'm trying to make. I understand why none of you want to go for Saliba, but in my opinion, there's very few other better options. And I don't think Gabriel missing out suddenly leapfrogs lots of other teams to be better defences than Arsenal. I feel like we talked about this a lot now. So I'm going to leave it at that. As always, it's just my opinion. I'm an idiot with a webcam. That is 240k. I could absolutely be wrong. Chelsea haven't won away in the Premier League for 8 weeks. Oof. Hopefully that starts today with a Palmer hat-trick. Actually, when did Chelsea... Oh, Chelsea and Liverpool both playing tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Oh, the Liverpool game's on TV. I don't want to watch Liverpool and I don't have Salah captain. Have Munoz, Livramento, Konza, Vardo and Gabriel. Can't afford Saliba. Who would you move Gabriel onto? Who would you start this week? So for you, I'd probably just bench Gabriel and decide next week. You could take a punt on Timber next week, potentially. But I would just play Munoz, Livramento, and Konza and just worry about it next week. Because if you can't afford a Saliba anyway, every other defender you're looking to buy is cheaper. Play Burn or Ain't Nuri. I think Ain't Nuri's more attacking, but I think I back Newcastle defence a bit more. Newcastle, Leicester away, it's Ipswich away, isn't it? Yeah, I'd go Burn over Ain't Nuri, I think. Palmer to Son as a 2-week punt. No chance would I do that. Bench Sarr or Savino. Savino. On bench boost 33, would you triple captain ISAK in 32 with the injury concerns or wait for 36 where Marmoush could have Southampton away Bournemouth at home? I would just triple captain ISAK if he's fit and available. If he's a major doubt going into the first game, then I would ignore it, but I'd probably just triple captain him. Rodgers or Savino in on bench boost in 33. I think Savino is the more exciting pick, but Rodgers is fine, especially for safety in minutes. Who in for Gabriel? Got 6.3, can't afford Saliba. Got Munoz, Vardio, Livramento, Nico Williams, and who will take Gabriel's centre-back spot? Probably Kivior, but for every game, I can't guarantee you that. I'd probably be looking at Timber next week. Otherwise, it does get really tricky. Maybe like a Van Dijk or someone like that. Or you're just going down to like, I don't know, Ain't Nuri or Kirkes. I'd maybe take a punt on Timber if you're not using that third Arsenal slot elsewhere. But Timber might not start this week, so I wouldn't go for it this week. João Pedro, Strand Larson, or Over Nielsen, who's a better pick for the next few games? Next couple of games, probably João Pedro. Long term, I think it might be Over Nielsen. Ruben Dias and Eze, or Munoz and Savino on wildcard. I think for minutes, it's probably Ruben Dias and Eze. Who would you pick between Konza, Ruben, Vardio this game week? Probably Vardio and Konza. Would you captain Munoz to bench Chris Wood? I would just bench Chris Wood and captain someone else. Do you believe is worth the risk going against Salah when you have doubles, blanks, free hit on the horizon, plenty of differential opportunities? That's for you to decide. I'm going to do it because I'm 240k. Also, I was thinking about this morning. It's great that I've got bench boost next week, free hitting 34. But lots of people are going to use their assistant manager, and they're probably going to get 30 plus points over me over the next few game weeks. So, like, we always look forward to blanks and doubles, but it might just be that we have a good week and still get red arrows because people are on assistant manager, and they could absolutely smash it because there's so many points potentially available. We still haven't had a super popular assistant manager blank yet, like get 0 or like 1 point. Like that would be nice for those of us not an assistant manager, but I suspect that they're going to do much better than that given the fixtures. Why not bench boost 33 with more doublers? The maximum doublers you can have really is 2. And that's if you play Salah in your 11. So you're talking 2 extra fixtures. And for me, the team, like, I should have done it right and gone for Areola. But no, I could have done it with this setup with Martinez and gone for a different defender to Nico Williams. But it's also further away, so there's more things that can go wrong. Why Murphy over Gordon? Gordon's not fit, and Murphy's much cheaper. What would the 3 forwards look like in game weeks 35 to 38? Marmoush and which 2? Honestly, probably Watkins if he's fit. And then I'll probably just keep Evan Nielsen. I haven't really thought about which 3 forwards would be essential from 35 to 38. A lot of it will depend on if there's doubles in 36 and who's doubling. Like if Bournemouth double, then Evan Nielsen will be really popular. That's part of the reason he's in my squad right now. If he doesn't and it's someone else, then it'll be a different forward, right? Like if Chris Wood is fit and Nottingham Forest double in 36, then all of a sudden he becomes very popular. So it's a bit difficult to say right now exactly which 3 forwards it will be. Wolves fixtures are also not bad for the rest of the season. So Cunha will be back on people's radars when he's not suspended. Like it's 6.8. They've got, I mean, it's Man City away in 35, but outside of that, it's Leicester at home in 34, Brighton at home in 36, Palace away 37, Brentford at home 38. I can't tell you right now which 3 forwards are the best. Eze, Evan Nielsen, or Rodgers Mateta. Probably Rodgers and Mateta for the extra fixture in 33. Best Clive at replacements, Saka, Rashford, and risk minutes with Champions League or play safe with Murphy for Leicester and double. I would... that's interesting. I mean, if you can go Murphy and then get Saka later, I don't hate that. But otherwise, I would just get Saka now. I'm ranked exactly 6,000 in the world. How cool is that? That's pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, it's just nice being 6K in the world, to be honest. Even if it was 6,001. Best choice for FPL manager this week, probably Eddie Howe. Salah has 3 out of 3 hat-tricks when playing 2 weeks before Easter. Okay. What games was he playing? Why am I not playing Saka? It's very difficult for me to play Saka, if I'm honest. When should I use assistant manager if I've got 3 hit bench boosts left? Now, if you can, or afterwards, 35, 38, or 36, 35, 37, 36, 38. Start Sarr or Rodgers? Sarr. Lots of people went Livramento over Burn because Dan Burn's 2 yellow cards away from a suspension. But at this point, if you go this week, he's just, basically you're just hoping that he doesn't get 2 yellow cards in the next 2 games. He'll probably be fine. Start Rodgers or Murphy? Murphy. Think we'll get any Saka news? No. Well, it is the early kickoff, isn't it? Oh. Apologies. Yeah, maybe we will. Maybe we will. But I doubt it. We haven't had Arsenal leaks for a long time. Don't Newcastle have 4 games until the yellows reset? You've got to get past 32 games, basically. Newcastle are on... Oh, yeah, 3... Is it 3 games then? Yeah, 29, 30, 31. Or 32. Yeah, you might be right. It might be 4 games. Is that right? Yeah, I think you might be right there. I'm pretty sure it's 32 games you've got to get through without getting 10 yellows. I thought it was less than that for Newcastle, but... Yeah, I think you might be right. Yeah, anyway, that's the reason people are going Livramento. Less yellow card worry. For 0.1 million. Boom. How do you have so much faith in Cole Palmer? How do I have so much faith in a guy that's got 25 attacking returns already this season that had like 35 last year? Don't know. I don't know if Porro will start. He didn't... Oh, let me just see here. Did he start against Chelsea or was it Spence and Udogie? No, he didn't start. So presumably he will. But who knows? I'm almost certain you're going to captain Salah. I'm not going to captain Salah. I'm going ISAK or Palmer. I just don't know which. It could just be ISAK. Again, Salah's probably obvious. That's fine. Go for him. Like, no, I'm really not trying to talk anyone out of going for Salah. You should go, if you think Salah's the best, you know what you should do. You should captain Salah. Is it worth taking a chance on Chris Wood starting over Rodgers? I really don't think Chris Wood's going to start, to be honest with you. So I'd probably just start Rodgers. Why am I keeping Palmer? Why wouldn't I keep Palmer? Thoughts on Saka as a differential captain? Just wouldn't go there. The minutes are not safe enough. I don't know why people will think Liverpool will struggle against Crystal Palace with Fulham's defensive form. Yeah, okay. If Isak doesn't play, who would start in my bench? Vardy or Luka Dean Clivert? Whoever's first bench. If it's between Munoz, Sarr or Semenyo Kirkes, who would you start bench? I'd play Sarr over Munoz and Semenyo over Kirkes. I'd play Sarr over Semenyo and Munoz over Kirkes, if that makes sense. Potter or Frank for assistant manager this week, chasing rank. Graham Potter, I think. What makes you start Eze over Sarr, given the recent form suggesting it should be the other way around? I don't really make a lot of my decisions based on form, first of all. And second, Eze's lower ownership, which is the main reason, basically. I'm going for the more differential player. Sarr is very good this week. You'll regret not captaining Salah? Yeah, possibly. Just like last week. Start Saka or Sarr. I think if you've got Saka, you're probably starting him ahead of most other players. Bruno captain is very ambitious. I would not be going Bruno captain this week, personally. Would you pick Konate over Van Dijk just to save money in the bank? I would if it's going to really impact you later on, but I do prefer Van Dijk over Konate in isolation. Start Sarr over Marmoush. United are better against stronger teams. I don't think I can bench Marmoush. How come ISAK captain over Palmer now? I'm very undecided. It's between the two. I don't know. I guess with ISAK being flagged and a slight doubt, that makes me more likely to want to go Palmer. But I also think ISAK will start, and he's playing Leicester, and that could just be enough. When am I going to use triple captain and bench boost? Bench boost 32. I wasted my triple captain in game week 9 on Haaland against Southampton, who got his best XG game of the season and got 1 goal and no bonus. God, this season, honestly, this is why I tweeted the other day that I got a green arrow and it never feels like enough. It just feels like so much has gone wrong. I'm sure it hasn't. I'm sure I've had plenty of good stuff as well. But it just feels like so many little decisions have just gone so bad. All the Newcastle team predictors I've seen have Isak 100% start. I think he'll start. I don't really have many doubts about that. It's more about his minutes. Like, right now, if you told me Isak's going to play 60 minutes against Leicester, which is possible, and Palmer's going to play 90 against Brentford, I would probably just captain Palmer. And that's the worry. It's the minutes already. But if Isak gets 75 plus, I'd probably go Isak. I quite like Palmer though because he's the lowest owned of the 3. So he's like an even bigger differential than Isak. The Bailey Pie, thank you. Have you seen the Isak leak? I haven't seen an Isak leak. Why not Martinez over Ray and goal? I just back Arsenal defence a lot. Basically. A lot more than other people, it seems. Would I consider Son against Southampton? I probably wouldn't. He could just get benched, and how frustrating would that be? I haven't seen a Saka leak, no. What's the approach if no free hit 34 on wildcard in this week? You probably need a couple more players that are going to play the whole way through, like Elanga, for example, from Forest. Newcastle players are still pretty good because they'll play the whole way through. Someone like Jared Bowen, maybe, from West Ham, or Wan-Bissaka, because they got Southampton at home in 33 and then they play all the way through. Especially for an attacker, the fixtures are not terrible. Should I consider a route to Haaland when wildcarding? I wouldn't bother. He's out for 5 to 7 weeks. What do I think about Asensio? I think he would frustrate the hell out of me because you can't guarantee he's going to start every week. I think Trippier will start, yeah. Yeah, Craig Hope said that he thinks Isak will be fine, but it's not an in-the-know leak. Like, he doesn't know he's starting, for example. I love the fact he has to say for all the FPLers in my DMs. God, that must be so annoying. I'm bench boost 32. Gabriel to Cucurella and info or Kivior now. I'd just go Cucurella if it's for bench boost 32 in particular. I have Gabriel, Aina, Hall, Allison, wow, Fabianski, Cliver, Isak, 1 free transfer, a whole bunch of cash, free hit 33. Little help, please. So you don't have a wild card. Well, you've got to prioritise the players that are out really long term, right? So it's Gabriel and Hall are probably your 2 biggest issues. Isak's probably fine. I wouldn't worry about him. Allison's probably fine. Clivert's a doubt. Aina's going to be out for a while, but I think Hall and Gabriel are your worst players. So, mate, how many defenders you have? So you can bench Aina and Hall. So I would sell Gabriel. Your free hit 33. So you probably want I don't know, You want someone that's good 32, 30, 31, 32, and then 34 onwards. It's like a Forest defender, maybe. Maybe Newcastle. I still quite like Newcastle for you, actually. Because they play Ipswich in Game Week 33. Yeah, Newcastle's probably your best. If you haven't got... if you've got a spare Newcastle slot, I would get a Newcastle defender for Gabriel. Craig Hope is the best connected nerd. Yeah, by the way, I'm not discrediting his credentials. I think, like, I follow him. I think he's really good. But he's not saying Isak will start. He's saying, I think Isak will be fine. I also think Isak will be fine based on what Eddie Howe has said, and presumably that's what he's going off. Maybe he's had a source that said Isak is fine, but that doesn't seem to be what he's basing it on. But again, I can only keep reiterating, I think Isak will start. My only concern is the minutes, really. Do you think Livramento gets at least 4 more points than Saliba next 2 game weeks? I know. I wouldn't guarantee it. I think it's possible for sure. And does Salah outscore them both the next 3 game weeks? So 1 less fixture, but it's Salah. Probably. Big Ange's managership this week. Am I crazy? No, but I would definitely want to move it on after this week. Start Kirkes or Vardiol, sorry. Probably Vardiol, but it's quite close. Start Bowen or Semenyo. So West Ham are home to Bournemouth. Yeah, Bowen, I think. You Gremlin, thank you. Captaincy poll, Matthew, 31 months. Yes, I can put a captaincy poll up. And we can see that everyone is captaining Salah, probably. So alphabetical order. Yeah. Salah, someone else. Someone else for all the people that are going for Salah. Your Game Week 31 captain is... Thoughts on Harvey Barnes? Probably okay this week. Long term, not for me. If Isak is injured, will he not feature or cameo? Okay, so again, presumably he's either going to start or he's just going to be out completely. But he could be on the bench. Or if it's a minor thing, and you know, let's say his groin issue flares up again on Monday, they might just bench him. It's possible. I think it's unlikely, but it could happen. I think he'll start. I don't know how many times I can keep saying that, really. Why start Murphy over Sarr if no Eze? Leicester. Marino or Martinelli? I'd probably go Martinelli out of the 2. Got triple Newcastle Palace. No free transfers left. Who to assistant manager? 31, 32, 33. Arteta. Should I do Semenyo to Enzo if that helps me get Saliba on wildcard? Probably, especially if you're bench boosting 32. Yeah, if you've got a spare Arsenal slot, I quite like Arteta next 3 game weeks. It's boring, but boring's often good. Thoughts on Ethan Wanyeri? You already know the answer. You already know the answer, I think. Potter this week and switch to Glasner next week. Yeah, I don't mind that, but I do think that Eddie Howe for 2 weeks and then into Arteta is probably better. You could go Graham Potter, then into Eddie Howe, then into Arteta, but then you're using 2 transfers. If you like Sarr, why not bench Evan Nilsson? I like Evan Nilsson as well. And Evan Nilsson could be on penalties. With Clive at a doubt. United can't score. I don't know. They scored against Leicester. Are Man City that much better than Leicester? What's wrong with Salah as captain this week? Nothing. Start Rashford or Eze. Is Rico Lewis an option? Nope. Thoughts on Odegaard with Saka back? I think Odegaard's fine, but very underwhelming as a pick. I had a lot of groin issues. Okay. As a Premier League footballer or just generally? If I was Howe, I would certainly consider resting Isak if Wilson's there, considering Man United, Crystal Palace are tougher and finishing top 5 is so important. Yeah, but I also just don't think Callum Wilson is the same as he was like a couple of years ago, right? Like, Isak's massively superior. Newcastle can probably beat Leicester with Callum Wilson, but yeah, I think ISAK could just play. Like, bearing in mind they've got till Monday and then they don't play again until the following weekend. Yeah, they're playing Monday, Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday. Like, why is no one talking about Solanke as captain? Mostly because nobody owns Solanke, or hardly anyone owns him. So no one's really asking about it. Murphy captaincy, zero interest, to be honest. No penalties, could get subbed early. So could Isak, but he's got penalties and much superior goal threat, etc., etc. I think you missed my super chat. Gabriel replacements if you can't afford Saliba. I did answer a couple on them. Oh, so yeah, maybe not that specific one. I did answer a few others. If you want to go Arsenal, it's probably Timber. Otherwise, Newcastle or Palace, probably, if you're not tripled up. A lot of it will also depend on your chip strategy as well. Like, if you're free hit 33, then you can maybe go a little bit different. Like, still Newcastle would still be pretty good, actually. Sar Murphy Rogers, play 2, bench 1. I would bench Rogers. At 100k, is it risky to captain Isak with Salah vice captain? Didn't Howe say it's a minor problem? He said it's very minor problem. Just captain who you think is going to score the most points. Or if you think it's close, go for the differential if you want to chase, and if you don't, go for the other one. Potter or I did that one. Okay, yeah. So I did miss the Gabriel one. I'm thinking wildcard now, triple captain 32, bench boost 33, still got free hit 34. Any particular fixtures, swings in particular I should worry about? Not massively. The team you set up now for 33 will probably be pretty good onwards after free hit. There could be doubles in 36 and blanks in 37, but it's not guaranteed. If we get a leak, Saka is bench, would you still include on wildcard? If you can spare the transfer, I'd be tempted just to go Palmer. Improve this bench boost 32. Sells, Rogers, Milenkovic, Vardio. I mean, that looks pretty good to me. Everton at home, double up. Southampton away, and Palace at home. Looks quite good. Like, there's no other doubles that week. So obviously you're starting your 6 Newcastle and Palace. So in terms of single game weekers, like, I don't think Martin is necessarily better than Sells. Yeah. I think that's pretty good. Like, a lot of people are going to have Vardio and a Forest defender on the bench, so it's only 2 other players different. Like, I'm essentially going to have Evan Nielsen and Martinez where you've got Sells and Rogers. There's really not much in it. I don't have the funds to get Saliba. Is Timber a good option? Timber's fine, I think, long term, but he might not start this week. He's a doubt, so you can't go there this week. Otherwise, I like Newcastle Palace if you're free hit 34. If you're not, or if you haven't got your free hit, I quite like Newcastle anyway up until 34. Otherwise, Forest maybe, something like that. Views on Share as a Newcastle defender over Burn. Like, he's fine, but I don't think it's worth spending the extra money on him. I think I'd rather save that for a rainy day. Like, Livermento and Dan Burn are just such good value. Do I think Salah and Isak will both be over 100% effective ownership? Yes. Salah definitely will. Like, he will be every week for the rest of the season. Yeah, Isak almost certainly. Edison and Ray are on a wild card. Ortega 3. Yeah, that's the problem. I think Edison and Ray could work, but it just wouldn't surprise me if at some point Ortega just randomly plays. Saka hat-trick thoughts. Quite low, I would say. Which 2 to start? Saka, Sarr, and Savinho. Saka and Sarr. I don't think Gordon's going to start. I don't mind Savinho on wildcard. Just as always, if you're going to buy a Man City player, just be prepared that they could be benched at any point. And don't get too frustrated when it happens. I've got double Arsenal, double Newcastle in a back three. Would you swap one of the Newcastle defenders for Vardy or Ait Nouri on the bench? You can make an argument that Ait Nouri is better because it's Ipswich away. So if you want to kind of hedge your bets, then sure. But I think playing both double ups is fine, generally. Benching one of Bowen, Matoma, or Murphy. Probably Matoma, but it doesn't feel great. But yeah, probably Matoma. Start Sarr or Gordon. Sarr. Saka or Murphy. Oh, probably Saka. I'd start. Yeah, again, there is a chance Saka will be benched. But I think if you've got him, you've put yourself in a position where you've probably got to start him. Start Sarr. Oh, yeah, I did that one. Yeah, again, just to reiterate, for Gordon, I don't think he's going to start. Mm-hmm. So the captain... Wow, so many people are captaining ISAK. ISAK 61%, Palmer 4%, Salah 30%, and someone else 4%. So there's as many people captaining someone that's not ISAK, Palmer, and Salah as there is captaining Palmer. Wow. I'm very tempted to go for the massive differential Palmer. Gordon doesn't start based on what? Being an injury doubt. He hasn't, up until Friday, he hadn't done any team training, according to Eddie Howe. Obviously, he could start, but based on current info, my prediction would be a benching. Who to bench, Sarr or Rodgers? Rodgers. I have 3 Palace and 3 Newcastle. Do I assistant manager Arteta or Glasner for Munoz? Probably Arteta. You just get one less transfer. That's the only one less fixture, but you save a transfer the whole way through. Quite nice. Semenyo or Sarr. God, the amount of people I've told to play Sarr, and I've got him on the bench. This is going to hurt. This game week's not. No game week's ever fun. It seems this game week is no different. Are ISAK and Murphy the best Newcastle combo? In attack, they probably are, yeah. For this week. From next week, it could be ISAK and Gordon instead. Enjoying Elanga for the last 2 game weeks, but I think Semenyo will outscore him this week. I would play Semenyo over Elanga this week, but they're both pretty good, I would say. Foden or Sarr? Foden is better, but Sarr is going to play so many. Yeah, probably Sarr. Safety. Craig Hope tweeting ISAK is fine. He thinks ISAK is fine. He thinks he'll be fine, is what he said, I think. I could be wrong. On wildcard, get Martinez, Eze, and a Villa defender, or Areola, Sarr, and Canate. Other keeper I have is Raya. Probably Martinez. Well, which week are you bench boosting? Or does that not matter? I mean, my gut instinct is that Martinez, Eze, and Villa defender is better. Bench 2 of Saliba, Vardy, Munoz, Burn, Kirkes. I would bench Vardy and Kirkes probably. Take a hit to bring in ISAK over Visser. Ooh. I think if you're going to have to take that hit eventually anyway, then yes, I would just do it for Leicester. He's got the double next week. Yeah, bench boost 33, then surely the doubles is better, right? I know they're worse fixtures, but still. What is your favourite FPL game week punishment? This week we are going on a promotion tour for the Minecraft movie. We start at the retirement home, then go to the shopping street and finish at the movie. Apart from Minecraft, I've got no idea what the rest of that means. And in terms of FPL game week punishments, I'm too old for that kind of stuff. I don't know. I've seen some good ones before, but I can't really remember. They couldn't have been that good. It seems to be a big thing though, especially with younger FPL players. I've seen a few, like on TikTok or Instagram or whatever. I've seen like kids putting up their forfeits. It seems to be quite a big thing, but I'm an old man, so I'm not in any leagues with any forfeits, I'm afraid. So I haven't been thinking about them. Bruno Ossar. Oh God. Okay. Would I really bench Bruno? Would I really bench Bruno? Probably not. Probably not. I think if you got Bruno, you play him. I think. If you asked anyone else, would they say that? I don't know. I'd probably play Bruno, I think. Is it risky to start both my Palace attackers instead of Marmoush? I think it's fine. I'd find it quite hard to bench Marmoush, I think, just having Man City's number 9 who could be on penalties. Sounds quite good in theory. Do I play assistant manager for Palace? What's your other options? I think it's okay to play it on Glasner, but again, I feel like I've said this so many times in this stream. I quite like Eddie Howe twice and then Arteta. Everton scored today, by the way. Yeah, they could definitely score. That is possible. That is a scenario that could happen. The alternative scenario is they don't score. That could also happen as well. Start Vardio or Nico Williams. Vardio for sure. Yeah. I've got Vardio ahead of Nico Williams on the bench. Play 2, Milenkovic, Aitnuri, Kirkez. Probably Aitnuri and Kirkez, I think. No Arsenal team news. I'm hoping we don't get any either. You Saka owners have already had 8 points off the bench. You're not allowed info that he's benched as well. Take a -4. Castagna out with Saliba or Burn in. God, if you've really got no other defenders to play, you could do that. But I think I'd rather just not take the -4 and just make the move next week instead. Don't you think that Gordon on wildcard is fine, even if he doesn't play, because you can have Rodgers off the bench and Gordon for the double in 32? I think that's a good plan, as long as you're fully confident Gordon is fit for 32, which he probably will be. Play Saka or Sarr. Saka. If he was benched, would you even bench him as a Saka owner? I probably would, but again, it would depend on who's on your bench. Delict is a doubt for the game. Weakens Man United defence. For Marmoush, you mean? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be benching Marmoush, I don't think, anyway. Even though on my video yesterday, I did have Sarr ahead of Marmoush. That was an oversight, I think, from me. Bench Mateta or Rashford? Rashford. Priced out of Gabriel to Saliba. Have 3 Newcastle City, Crystal Palace, Timber. Timber's probably not going to start this week, though. You could just delay the move until next week and then buy Timber if he's fit after the Real Madrid game. And if not, just get someone else next week. Like, if you're already priced out of Saliba, then no other defender is going to be priced out for you next week. So if you've got like Munoz, Livramento, and a Man City defender, that's fine to play this week. Munoz, Canati, Vardio, thoughts, please. I'll play 1, Munoz. Thoughts on Saka as a captain to be different. Some people are worried he might be benched. I just don't think you can captain him. I'm 80 points behind on my mid-league. First place seems to be on the same strategy. Plan is to delay wildcard until next week and see what he does. 1 week punt on Solanke. Don't hate Solanke. There's not a guarantee he will start, but I think he will. I'm more confident that Solanke will start than Son, for example. Right, I've got to decide on captaincy. I've been stung by Palmer too many times. That is true, yeah. Maybe we should just stop fighting it. Paul, thank you. I might just go ISAK. I don't know. Best £6 million midfielder for a punt to catch mid-league leader. For how long? Like for this week only? For long term? Like Enzo's not bad for this week and next week. Short term. Otherwise, like 6 million or less is not a huge amount of options. Like Alanga, Murphy. Murphy's not that differential though, but he's still fine. Wildcard, Konza or Milenkovic. Konza if you're like bench boost 33, I think. Why are you switching the captain last minute? I'm not. There's 22 minutes. There's 22 whole minutes to go. That's 21 minutes off the last minute. Bench Eze or Savinho? Savinho. I'm just not sure about captain. That's all. I think ISAK will start. Okay, a million times I've said that now. I just if he gets subbed on the 60th minute, it's going to be so annoying. Bench boost or assistant manager in 32. I've used my free hit. I'd probably assistant manager this week if you can. 32 to 34 doesn't sound great to me because you'd want a double game week manager in 33, but then they blank in 34. So it depends how many transfers you've got and how well is your bench boost set up right now. When are you wildcarding? Presumably bench boost is probably better, but it depends on other factors. Salah seems like a differential captain if you look at the poll. Yeah, he will be somewhat from engaged managers, but the large majority will still just go Salah. Debating whether to start with Palmer on wildcard and move to Savinho in 33 or start with Savinho. I'd captain Palmer this week. Should that change things? Well, yeah, if you want to captain Palmer, you should definitely get Palmer. Yeah, I think you said earlier that your rank, you were trying to find differentials. So Palmer captain is absolutely fine. Start Foden or Bruno. Bench one, red or brown sauce? Brown sauce, 1,000,000%. No thinking needed. I will never choose brown sauce over red sauce for anything. I don't care what food you're about to tell me is better with brown sauce. It's red for me. Sorry to say. It's just personal opinion. You're allowed to eat brown sauce. I'm not trying to stop you. Relax. No, I don't care that you want brown sauce with that particular food item. It's red sauce. Best 1 week defender punt before wildcard for 5 million. 1 week defender. It's a shame we can't guarantee Spurs defenders, although I don't know if they're under 5 million. 8 Nuri against Ipswich. Yeah, I think 8 Nuri against Ipswich. Surely Sarr is the better option, or Murphy. Yeah, Murphy just because it's Leicester, really. Why is no one talking about Mateta captain? I think he just keeps getting subbed early the last couple of games. So there's a bit of worry there. Start Ray or Areola. Raya. I was mostly away from Game Week 15. Now I'm 656k overall rank. Have wildcard manager, bench boost chips. How should I use them? Again, it's going to depend on how your team is set up right now. But you could wildcard now, but you've only got 18 minutes to think about it. So maybe do it next week. Or if your team looks good for the next couple of weeks, wildcard in 34. Bench boost 32, 33 if you can set up for it. Yeah. It really depends on how your team looks right now. Any conversation about Game Week 37 and how damaging it could be? I know it's a while, but the free transfers just aren't there to plan. How am I navigating? I'm just waiting to see if there's doubles and blanks and then dealing with it as and when. What else can you do, really? Trying to save transfers where possible, but ultimately that's not going to happen through the double, so it will have to happen after 34. Hits if needed. But the one thing to remember is most people will be in the same boat. There's not going to be many people that get to 36, 37 with a free hit left. Start Minetzi or Sarr. Sarr, did you wildcard this week? How come Palmer not Saka? I wildcarded last week because I didn't think Saka would start, which he didn't. I have a real urge to captain Bruno. Can you talk me out of it? There is no way I would captain Bruno this week. Start Savinho, Murphy, or Mateta. Or is that... Yeah, I'd bench Savinho. Basically, I'd play the Mateta, Murphy, Savinho in that order. Start Gordon or Sarr, captain ISAK or Salah. I'm going to go ISAK over Salah, but I might go Palmer over both. I would 100% start Mateta over Rodgers. Are Luka Dean's minutes good for the double? Probably they're okay, but Maatson could start one of the games. I think Maatsen, let me just have a quick look here. Yeah, he's only started like one of the last 5, so it's not that likely, but it is possible. That's what puts me off Luka Dean. If Luka Dean starts both games, he's much more interesting than Konza. You just, again, it's. I would really try and avoid too many minutes risks at the moment. There's just so much stuff going on. You don't want to have to deal with those kind of issues as well. I guess once Luka Dean's in, you're just playing him and then hoping for the best, so it's not that much of a concern, but I just wouldn't bother. Do you start Bruno Guimaraes or Rodgers? Rodgers, best sauce on the kebab, burger sauce for me. Probably just like chili and garlic or something like that. Livy and Sosig are asking, I've probably pronounced that wrong. If so, I apologise. Are asking, what's the best captain, Salah, Marmoush, or Isak? I'm going to go Isak out of those 3. Isak to Strand Larsen to get Eddie Howe? No. Yeah, I would just use the system manager on someone else if you can, or just delay it. I wouldn't want to sell Isak, personally. How does wildcard this week? Bench boost 32 and assistant manager 33, keeping free hit for 37. Then the problem is you've got our assistant manager with a blank straight afterwards. But again, you could use a transfer or 2. It's not the end of the world. You still get at least 1 double game week manager. But bearing in mind, you might be keeping free hit for 37 that might not be a blank. Start Sarr over Foden or Saka. I would play Saka and Sarr. But I think it's fine if you want to play Saka and Foden. Praz benching Foden and captaining Salah. Nice. Bench 1, Evan Nielsen, Enzo, Bowen, Fernandez. Evan Nielsen, Enzo, Bowen. Enzo, I think, out of those. Is Isak starting? Hopefully. I mean, lots of people are captaining him, so there's a lot of confidence. I'm a little bit tempted. I might just go ultra differential and just go Palmer. Like, looking at the captaincy poll, he's miles below Isak and Salah. So maybe I just go there and hope for the best. Like, I find it difficult with these decisions because there is part of me saying... There's part of me saying, like, it's just a differential play. I'm 240k. But if it goes wrong and Salah and Isak absolutely smash it and my rank drops to like 400k... And am I then going to look at it and say, well, I just kind of threw it away? Did I need to go that different? That's what's playing on my mind. Like, if it goes wrong, like, it could just be like 400k rank or something, and that's just going to kill the season for me. It's going to. I'll have motivation still, but I do want to go against Salah. I think I'm pretty. Oh God, bro is the thinker. I can't deal with that. Sorry. Bro is the thinker. Personally, don't think Palmer is close to the other 2. I'm probably going to go Isak, I think. I think Palmer could be okay. Palmer's got to turn it around at some point. Like, he's too good. People are acting like Palmer's this rubbish player now. Not you, but like people are generally. That's the thing. That is the point, actually. I already want Palmer to do well, even if I don't captain him, because he's quite low ownership. I'm probably going to stick to Isak. Salah's just going to smash it, isn't he? Sorry. Why do you think Munoz over Vardy? I just like Munoz as an attacking option from open play. Basically. Yeah, Palmer does probably get 90 minutes. Oh, and Isak probably doesn't. Oh my God, it's such a close call all around. It's such a close call. Brentford were very good against Newcastle last week. Jackson's back for Chelsea though. Yeah, I can say in it, but I can't get on board with bro. I'm never going to be someone that says bro. Hey bro. I just can't do it. I haven't got it in me. Play Vardy or Kirkes or Munoz. Munoz for me. It's not a bad decision considering everything. With an assist, he has his confidence back. Maybe. I think it's quite. I think people. I just think for ages now people are just undervaluing Palmer, and I get it. He's been rubbish, but let's not act like he's not a brilliant player that can easily turn it around at any moment. Bench 2, Bowen, João Pedro, Van Dijk, Munoz, 8, Nuri, Vardio and Van Dijk probably. Brennan Johnson for Gordon to get Howe in. I don't think Brennan Johnson is a great long-term move, but selling Gordon to get Howe sounds good in general. Need to bench 1, Savinho, Sarr, Mateta, Savinho, Foden, Diaz and Timber, or Saliba, Vardio and Savinho plus 2 million. Probably the 2 million route. Bench Saliba or Munoz. Saliba. I really like Munoz this week. I really like Munoz this week. Maybe that's wrong. I mean, it's not like Brighton are pushovers when it comes to like their attacking output. So maybe Munoz just concedes and blanks again. But I really like him. Not sure to rather use AM now or use the free hit bench boost 33. Again, like it's really difficult to say without seeing your team, like and like having like 10, 20 minutes to think about it, which obviously is not going to happen, unfortunately. Yeah, I think basically all these decisions about I'm not sure when to use these chips, most of it will revolve around how good your team is set up for Game Week 32 and 33 doubles, and then you work backwards. If it's looking good, then you can just assistant manager now and free hit 34. If it's not, then you maybe need to free hit 33 or wildcard earlier, etc. 10 minutes to the deadline is probably not the time to give this loads of thought, unfortunately. But I appreciate not everyone has the time to spend stupid amount of hours on their FPL team and then still be like 240k rank. Bench Saka, Sarr, or Evan Nielsen. Sarr begrudgingly. Path 30 months on wildcard chasing rank. Thoughts on Son captain? Son might not start. Tonali or Murphy? Murphy, double Liverpool defence and no Salah to the end of the season. Doesn't sound great to me, whether you're chasing or not. Bench 1, Saliba, Savinho, Munoz, Vardio, Marmouche, Vardio. Griffith, 90 months, thank you. Bench 1, Foden, Saka. Come on, you can't ask questions with Salah in there. Are you going to bench Salah? Come on, you're not going to bench Salah. I just bench Foden, I think. What you're doing as differential captain, Saka and Evan Nielsen, probably Saka out of the two. Wildcard 31, Hendo, Martinez, Saliba, Timber, Livra, Conservadio, Mo, Gordon. I wouldn't go Gordon personally. Saka, Sarr, Savinho, Mateta, Isak, Marmouche. Would you change a lot? Yeah, probably just Gordon. Start Burn, Konza or Kirkes. Burn. Vardio or Timber. Vardio or Sarr or Savinho. Sarr. Start 2 of Sarr, Rogers, Vardio and João Pedro. Sarr and João Pedro. Start Rogers over Sarr or Murphy. No, not for me. Even though I think Rogers is quite good this week. I might just flip a coin. I don't have any coins though. I do have a coin. I don't really carry too many coins. I think I've got coins on me. I've got Euro. Which is the heads on a Euro coin? Is there an actual head on the Euro coin? I think there is. There's a... I don't want to say what that is because I might get it wrong. Okay. Well, the number is the tails. So I'm going to go heads Isak, tails Palmer. Heads Isak, tails Palmer. Oh, it's tails. Oh, no. No, that's heads. It's not the number. So it should be Isak. Did I say heads Isak? Why is there no head on a Euro coin? Yeah, I could use the random generator. No, because the thing is, if I use this and then I go against it and then it's wrong, I look like an idiot. Okay. Isak. Do you know what? I'm going to put, I'm going to put Salah in, but I'm not going to captain Salah. So, you are lying. You need to show us. No, it was heads. It was heads. Yeah, I've not got any pounds. I do have. I've got a great. I've got an English £10 note, but you can't really flip that. It doesn't really work the same. AI tools, multiple hours analyzing data. Andy flips a coin. Yeah, that's how it works. Let me have a quick look here. Okay. Let's see what we get. It's good. Okay. Oh, okay. The coin. I don't. Oh my god! I'm too afraid to captain Palmer. Because the thing is, he hasn't like. If he'd done really well recently, I captained him. People and then he blanked. People are like, oh, okay, well you got a bit unlucky. But because he's been doing rubbish, if he does badly, it's going to be like, well, you're an idiot. Of course, he's only got like 1 goal in the last 10 games or something. Best 2 of 3, yeah. Best 2 of 3. Okay, hang on. Can we just do it? Can I just spin it again? Okay. Ah, come on! Come on! Oh my days. That was just a practice. Okay, we'll take. Okay, so definitely not Salah. That's 3. 2 Palmer, 1 ISAK. Yeah, maybe I'm a little bit tempted. The thing is, if I go into Monday on a red arrow and then I know everyone's got ISAK, that's going to kill me. You clearly don't want to captain Palmer. I don't want to get it wrong. That's the bigger problem. Timber is with the squad. Do you think he starts? I think there's a good chance, I guess, if he's with the squad. But again, I really can't guarantee it. Marino, a good punt for the next 2 weeks. He's okay. I wouldn't be that excited about him. I guess he's fine. Just hope that he keeps playing number 9, which is not a guarantee. But if Timber's going to play, then I guess Marino will play number 9 again. Assistant manager now, or bench boost in 33. I'd probably assistant manager and hope that your bench boost down the line looks good. Nantha, thank you. Bench 1, Semenyo, Sarr, Semenyo. Bench 1, Sarr, Murphy, Marino. Probably Marino for me. Areola, then Raya, and bench Konza versus Martin. Areola, then Raya, and bench Konza versus Martinez plus Munoz. Is it? Oh my god, I don't know what the question is. I'm not sure what the question is, if I'm honest. Start Rodgers over Sarah Murphy, not for me. I would predict Foden to start, but I wouldn't be that confident about it. Leicester are excruciatingly terrible. Fulham is a tough game. Yeah, I'm not captaining Salah. I've decided on that, even though he's probably still the best option this week. It did fall on ISAK once, though, right? Palmer's not even taking set pieces. Captain, no, even if you think Foden's going to start, I don't think that he's a great captain, personally. Captain Murphy, no chance. Hey. I think I'm going to end up on ISAK. I'm going to hate myself. Oh. I think I'm going to end up on ISAK. I really don't think Captain Palmer is a terrible decision. The wheel feels cheated on. Oh, I know. The first 2 were just practices, though. Surely 90-minute Salah beats 60-minute ISAK. Salah is also practically a differential at this point. He's not a differential. He's going to be massively captained by most people. How do you always find a way to stress about something on deadline? I don't always. Like, next week will be simple. If there's no injuries next week, I'm bench boosting. My bench will be Martinez, Nico Williams, Vardiol, and Evan Nielsen. My captain will be ISAK. Nothing whatsoever to think about next week, as long as there's no injuries. And then game week 33, my captain will be Saka if he's fit. It'll be Palmer to Saka, ISAK to Watkins if Watkins is starting again, and Murphy to Savinho. And I will captain Saka and I will vice captain Marmoush. So, and then get wildcard, and then free hit 34. There might be some decisions, but I'm gonna go ISAK, I think. But I'm gonna vice Captain Palmer. So if ISAK misses out, I mean, seriously, I wouldn't mind ISAK missing out. Captain Palmer and Sarr comes off the bench. It really wouldn't be the end of the world. Play Rodgers and bench Ismail Sarr. I'd play Sarr. Kivior in for Gabriel. I think it's a risk long term. Rodgers or Marino to start. Rodgers probably. Start two of Enzo, Sarr and Eze, the two Palace players. Bench one of Sarr or Savinho. Right, there's only a minute left. I wouldn't put any more super chats in now because I might miss them before the deadline. I'll pray for you that if Palmer scores a hat trick, that's huge for me because he won't be over 100% effective ownership. Yeah. Why not vice captain Salah? Because I want to go against Salah this week, basically. Captain Saka because I hate myself. Should have been Palmer captain. Should have been Palmer. I need to just double check I'm actually locked in now. I've changed things so much. Yeah, there we go. I'm sure Vardy will outscore Saliba as well, and then Saliba will get injured, and that move will be terrible. I should honestly, if Palmer does really well, of course, if Palmer outscores Salah and Isak, of course I will wish I captained him, but those points will still be big for me. Haaland Madrid, I missed your thing. Possibly. And I could go on without you. Haaland Madrid, I don't see a super chat from you anywhere recently. Like at all. That's deadline. I'm captaining Isak. How boring. Any tips for the national? No idea. I'm not a horse racing kind of guy, to be honest. What do the green, gold, and silver logos next to subscribers' names mean? That's just how long you've been like a member of the channel. You get different ones the longer you go on. The longer you're a member, sorry. Am I betting on the national? No. Nope. No interest, I'm afraid. There we go. Saliba in, Isak captain. Hopefully Palmer does well anyway. Make sure to give the stream a like. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Why Saliba now and not wait for 32? Price changes mostly. Watch Leicester turn up. Maybe. Could happen. Right, I'm going to shoot off. Thank you very much for watching me. Watching the stream, sorry. Enjoy the weekend. Yeah, make sure to give the stream a like. Hit that subscribe button before you go off. Good luck with your points this week. We'll do it all again next week. We've got a proper week off next week. The next deadline's Saturday. So yeah, I'll catch you then. There'll probably be a video tomorrow rather than a stream, but we'll see. We'll see. Sleep. I'm gonna do the sleeper draw on the next deadline stream because there's loads of names and I've not written them down, and there's a ton of people to write down. So rather than sit here and look them all up and type them all down, look them all up and then type them, I'm just gonna do it on the next deadline stream. So yeah. So I'll do the game week. I'll make sure I'm more prepared. I'll do the game week 30 and the game week 31 draws on the next deadline stream. Right. Thank you very much, and I will catch you again soon.